The letter wall is a fantastic place to start a tour of the American Sign Museum, as it lays out the general timeline that you're going to be exploring today, going from the late 1800s all the way up through the 1970s. And what really makes the letter wall a great place to start is that it does a good job of breaking down these 100 years into a couple of different eras that are easier to digest on their own. Starting all the way to the right of the wall, you'll see the Mcclellan brothers sign and the assorted letters underneath that sign. These are fantastic examples of our pre-electric era, which nearly everything made before 1900 falls into this era. These letters are hand-carved wooden letters that have been gilded, and gilded means that they have actual gold on them in the form of gold leaf, which was very trendy, especially here in the United States in the late 1800s. Following 1900 is the rise of electricity in the United States and our next era, which is what the W and the sign letters represent. Given that this is when the rise of the light bulb came about, it is very appropriate that this next era is called the light bulb era. Light bulbs were typically found on the outside of signs. This is so that they could both decorate and illuminate the signs. It also made changing the light bulbs much easier. However, if they were not outside of the sign, they could be found inside of the sign, typically illuminating different forms of glass, like the opal glass letters that you'll find underneath the sign letters and on the Altman sign to the right. Following 1930, we have the rise of, objectively, the coolest era in the museum, the neon era. Now, neon lights are actually a French invention, and it was first unveiled to the world at the Paris Motor Show of 1910. It took until 1923 for the first commercial neon sign to make its way over from France to the United States. That was a Packard car sign in Los Angeles. And it really took until about 1930 for neon to take off in general in the U.S. There are two salesman samples on the wall that each capture the novelty and creativity of the neon era. The pink glowing R is from the 1930s and demonstrates an edge-lit metallic letter. Nothing in this case is pink. The pink color is reflected off of the metallic surface of the R from the red and blue neon lights inside of the case. And above that to the left is the neon N. This is a 1950s salesman sample showing reverse channel letters, with the neon being behind the letters, casting a reverse shadow or highlighting effect on the surface behind the letter. With the decline of neon came the rise of our fourth and final era, the plastics era. Plastic signs began to show up a little bit after World War II, roughly around 1950. The museum lays out the evolution of the plastic sign from roughly 1950 all the way through the 1970s. The Sunco sign and Burger King sign at the top and bottom of the letter wall are interesting examples of how plastic and neon work together. Both of these signs feature neon illuminated plastic letters, and this was fairly common to find inside of plastic signs at least up until the 1990s, and even then, neon only started to fade out once LEDs became cheaper and more widely available.